At 48, Luna felt that time was robbing her. Each mirror reflected a stranger, a woman disappearing. But what if the secret to reversing time wasn't in a potion, but in a whisper? A forgotten code hidden inside all of us. This is not just a story, it's a revelation. And in the end, you'll question everything you thought you knew about aging. Stay with us, because Luna's journey can be yours. For centuries, humanity has seen the body as a machine, born, running, wearing out, and inevitably stopping. A finite vessel. But what if that perspective were just a shadow, a veil obscuring a profound truth? What if your body is not just flesh and blood, but an intricate symphony of light, consciousness, and vibration? Our story begins with Luna, a woman who, like many, was caught in the relentless stream of time, believing that its passage was an inflexible law. She felt the subtle pains, saw the deepening lines, and heard the social whispers that told her, it's just age. But Luna felt a deeper dissonance. Was aging really an inflexible sentence, or a story we've been told so often that we've come to believe it? Luna, like many, has internalized the narrative that time wears everything out. The skin gives way, the energy decreases, and the cells simply wither. She saw it in her reflection, felt it in her joints, and heard it echoed in all conversations about aging. But deep down, a whisper persisted. A childhood memory, perhaps when the body seemed limitless, without limits. Luna remembered the words of an elder, whose wisdom was as deep as the lines etched on his face. The eldest used to say that the body holds memories that the mind, in its complexity, insists on forgetting. As a child, Luna thought of scratched knees and faded scars. But the old man spoke of something much bigger. Luna, in her adult weariness, began to wonder, what if the body, in its innate truth, never truly forgets? What if he just waits for us to remember? Luna found herself consumed by quiet despair, feeling as if she was aging before her time. Then a revelation struck her, not from a book or lecture, but from an unexpected encounter. She learned of a secluded monastery nestled high in the mountains, where the monks lived in almost ethereal silence. They seemed ageless. A monk, more than a century old, had eyes that shone with the vivacity of a child. Luna, her voice choked with desperate curiosity, asked him, "How do you do that? How do you keep this youth?" He looked at her and, in a voice as soft as the mountain breeze, replied, "Because I never accepted that I grew old." That night, sleep abandoned Luna. For the first time, the world she knew faltered. She began to hear, not the voices of science, books, social conventions, but the whisper of her own body. Yes. Old age, she realized, was not an inevitable consequence. It was a program. Everything around us, from the moment we are born, trains us to grow old. The words we heard, the birthdays we celebrate, the ads that bombard us, the diagnoses we receive. From an early age, we are conditioned to believe that aging is losing. But no one teaches us that we can and should unlearn this. Modern investigations into quantum biology, while still whispering their findings, are beginning to confirm what the ancient sages already knew in their silence, that every thought you entertain is a chemical command, that every emotion you feel is a vibrational signal, and the body, in its innate intelligence, translates all this. Our cells are not mere genetic puppets. They respond to signals. And these signs do not come by chance. They emanate from your own consciousness. It's not magic, it is consciousness. It's energy. This alters the internal state, and consequently, the physical state. Your body, in its loyalty, obeys what you believe it to be. The body, in its structure, does not age. What ages is often the image we build of ourselves. If you repeat day after day that it's too late, that you're too old to change, that your time is past. The body listens. The cells, like loyal soldiers, receive this command, and they execute. But what if you dare to talk to your body differently, with a different vibe? Something then begins to change. Not immediately, not like a magic potion that transforms everything in the blink of an eye, but as a slow but inexorable return home. Luna's biology, in its silent complexity, listened to her thoughts. Each of them was a seed sown on the fertile soil of his being. In her body, It was the garden. For a long time, Luna, like many, believed in the innocence of thought, that what transpired in his mind was a private universe, with no echoes in the external world, who remained there, in silence, without consequences. But she was deeply mistaken. And this truth was not revealed to her in ancient scrolls or mystical visions. It manifested itself in the fragility of his own body. His skin lost its luster, like a withered flower. His organs, once vibrant, showed signs of failure. And medicine, in its limited wisdom, sentenced. It was age. But something inside Luna screamed. She felt that it was not her body that was dying, but rather her thoughts, like invisible parasites that were deactivating it. Luna spent years, perhaps a lifetime, repeating seemingly harmless phrases to herself, whispers of self-sabotage. I'm not enough. I don't have time. It's too late. But these words, seemingly trivial, were like slow knives, invisible cuts that his biology, in its blind obedience, began to follow. It was then that understanding became light. The body does not distinguish between lived reality and imagined reality charged with emotion. The chemistry of a thought, when imbued with feeling, is more powerful than genetics itself. Researchers have already demonstrated, with previously unimaginable clarity, that our emotions are not just ethereal feelings. They generate neuropeptides, small messenger molecules that travel to all corners of your body, transmitting the message of what you feel. If you surrender to fear, your body creates substances that affect your immune system. If you open yourself to love, it produces chemicals that regenerate. If you repeatedly cultivate sadness, the body, in its wisdom, ceases to produce what keeps it alive. Here's the real mystery, the revelation that could change everything. You do and have to go through a tragedy to get sick. Just imagine, repeatedly. Your body, in its simplicity, doesn't know the difference between running away from a real lion or just reliving an old argument in your mind. For this, what do you think? What do you feel? It's the truth that you are communicating to yourselves daily. Most people live on existential autopilot. They think without monitoring themselves. They talk about themselves as if they were damaged objects, uttering phrases such as, I have a bad memory. I'm always tired. I'm not like I used to be. And the body, in its unconditional loyalty, obeys. Not because it is weak, but because it is programmed to adapt to the consciousness that inhabits it. Fascinating studies have already proven this, observing the reaction of water molecules to words and intentions. Water is transformed. If you insult him, he becomes disorganized. If you bless him, he beautifies himself. And what is your body, if not a vast ocean in motion? Your DNA is not an immutable destiny, a phrase written in stone. It's a keyboard, an instrument that you play many times without realizing it. For decades, we were taught that we came into the world with a fixed genetic code, that our genes were the final verdict of what we would be. However, modern science, in its relentless search for truth, has demonstrated that the environment can alter the way this code manifests itself. And the most powerful environment of all, it is the internal environment. Your mental dialogue, your self-perception, your emotional universe. Every time you verbalize something to yourself, your biology listens, especially if you do it with emotion. Therefore, an empty statement, devoid of feeling, is ineffective. However, if you declare, with every cell vibrating in this conviction, I am being reborn, the body reorganizes itself, hormones change, the immune system is strengthened, wounds that seemed incurable begin to heal. Rewrite your story. It's not from the outside, but from within. When Luna, on her journey, transformed her way of thinking, she did not do so with Herculean effort, but with awareness. She didn't fight old patterns. She has only just begun to grow new ones. Every morning, even before she opened her eyes to the day, she repeated to herself, my body is a temple of life energy. My biology listens to me and responds, today's a day for me to regenerate. Nothing happened in a week. But in the third, his heartbeat was firmer. In the bedroom, deep sleep embraced her. And after a few months, the transformation was visible. It was not a miracle in the conventional sense. It was coherence. It's harmony between what she said and what she believed was possible. If you change your mind, your body, in its loyalty, transforms with it. Thought is energy. Emotion is your amplifier. and your biology is a sacred temple that obeys the sound that resonates within you. Luna's biology, in its intricate dance, responded to her consciousness. She realized that it was not just a dense body, limited by matter. She was a light that surrounded him, a vibrant aura that stretched beyond what the eye can see. In the eyes of the world, we are flesh, bones, muscles, but in the eyes of the soul, we are energy that breathes, that pulsates through matter. And although our grosser senses don't notice it easily, the body is enveloped by a vibrational field that reveals more about you than any medical exam, any diagnosis. The ancients called it an aura, an electromagnetic field. They represented it in sacred figures, in complex mandalas, not knowing that one day science, in its incessant search, would touch this veil. Today, we know that this field is not a metaphor, an esoteric concept. It's real. And it reflects your state of health, your level of consciousness, and yes, even your aging. Everything that manifests in your physical body was first gestated in your field. Luna discovered this truth in an unexpected way. An ancient healer, with eyes that seemed to have seen millennia, living in the most remote mountains, asked him to remain silent in front of a lake of crystal-clear waters. He said to her, in a voice that seemed to come from the wind itself, "Do not listen to the water. Listen to what vibrates behind it." And when Luna surrendered to this deep silence for the first time, she felt it. She felt her own field. It was like a gentle current, a delicate tingle around her skin, silent breath that did not come from his lungs but from a deeper place. What you feel, the healer explained, is your energy body. If the physical body is clean, in harmony, it regenerates. If it is damaged, blocked, the body withers. That day, Luna's understanding was not complete. But years later, the truth revealed itself in its fullness. She observed how sick individuals, with no apparent cause for their illnesses, exhibited fragmented auras, such as torn tissues, and how apparently healthy people, but without vitality, showed an dense and opaque field. It was then that it occurred to him, the body ages not by itself, but when the energy field that sustains it becomes blocked. You're living electricity. Modern science in its laboratories and research is beginning to validate this ancient wisdom. The body generates an electromagnetic field that can be measured. The heart, that tireless engine, has an electrical pulse more powerful than the brain itself. Every emotion you experience modifies that field. Some call this energy anatomy. Explain that each organ has its own energetic signature. And when these signatures are in disharmony, disease and aging manifest themselves. Luna began practicing simple, energetic exercises, visualizing the light flowing through her body, clearing blockages, and strengthening her aura. She learned to feel the subtle changes, the warmth, the tingling, the sensation of expansion. And as your energy field became more coherent, your physical body responded. Her skin regained its youthful glow, her eyes glowed with renewed vitality, and her energy levels skyrocketed. The chronic pains that had plagued her for years simply dissolved. Luna wasn't just looking younger, she was feeling younger from the inside out. Luna's journey is a powerful testimony to the truth that lies beyond the visible. She didn't find a magic pill or a secret serum. She found the secret code within herself. She learned to communicate with her biology, to align her thoughts and emotions with her deepest desire for vitality. His transformation was not only physical, it was a complete rewriting of his life, a profound spiritual awakening. Luna's story reminds us that the body does not yearn to grow old. It's just waiting for a new instruction. Cellular memory, the youth of the soul. Modern science calls this epigenetics. The ancients, in their wisdom, called this the memory of light. Each cell, they say, contains not only its biological history, but the resonance of its most frequent thoughts. That's frequency. Your biology is already ready. Just need to communicate with him. What story will you choose to tell your body today? The power to rewrite your life, to unlock the secret code of youth, is within you. Your true awakening begins now. Don't just live your story, rewrite it.